Hello and welcome back to the Movie Bar Podcast, the average movie podcast for average movie fans by average movie fans. The bar is now open. Welcome to episode number 62. I'm your host, Kyle.
I'm Justin.
And I'm John.
And in important news, have you guys watched the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer?
Yes, I have. Justin,
No.
you didn't watch?
No. I don't know anything about it. I don't care for it. It's not really on my radar.
So the reason I wanted to talk about it is I especially wanted your input, Justin, seeing as you're a father of a 10-year-old and 9 and a 7-year-old,
soon to be 8. Yeah.
So Hunter, that was nice.
Sorry.
Hunter has been obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's lately. There was that whole controversy about whether it was about a guy that killed a bunch of kids in a Chuck E. Cheese, and that's based off of that. But apparently, that's not the way this movie's going. Kyle, what did you think of the trailer first?
I think it looks really good. I think Jim Henson, like the Sesame Street guy, and like all that. I think his shop, so like did all the animatronics, so those look really good, and they're all practical. So that alone, it makes me, I'm excited for. But also, it's kind of crazy because I played the first one when it came out when I was like 12. So it's crazy that it's finally getting a movie and somehow it's still like big with kids. Like it's wild to me. Hunter's into it too because that shit is scary. Like I remember playing the game and I was like, this is terrifying.
Yeah, I don't know how he got into it. I know his sister was into it for a while, but that's back when everybody thought it was a guy had killed a bunch of kids in a Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. And I mean, it is kind of creepy, like these animatronics coming to life and killing the kid or whatever. But
yeah, well, have you ever seen the game?
Yeah, I've seen the first one. When you're sitting in the room watching the screens or whatever, and then the Security Breach, I believe it is, the one that's on the PS4. We've played that. Very dark and then a lot of jump scares but I think my main thing is if we the plan is right now is for me to watch it first and deem whether it's appropriate for him at this age because he doesn't like scary stuff or whatever. And that one scene at the end of the trailer with the guy with the blades, that was the only really intense scene. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of blood or whatever.
Yeah, I'm curious if it's PG-13 or R.
Yeah. If it's R, it's a definite no, but if it's PG-13, then it's something.
Yeah.
That's why
I imagine it probably will be, just because they want kids to go see it too.
Yeah, and I mean it's Blumhouse, Universal Studios. What are you shaking your head at, Justin?
Nah. There's no way that this is going to be safe for children.
I
can't hear it, but just watching it, no.
But see, that's basically what the game is, though. That same concept, the guy watching the screens and...
Hey, not my fault you let your kid play the game. Okay. This is why my kids don't have phones.
He doesn't have a phone either. He plays it on his Switch, and he watches the videos and collects the action figures.
They don't
which
have
are the
Switch.
worst. Which are the worst
pissed
action... We'll get him one then, Dad.
I had the chance to win one, and I got screwed out of it.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. No, that doesn't look like it's going to be...
Yeah, I mean...
Like, they can try and swing that to give it a PG-13 rating, but it's still going to be...
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I that's why I don't think the game is... Because, I mean, I was playing it when, I was older than Hunter, but, like, not old by any means, but even I remember being scared of it. So that's why I was blown away when Hunter was talking, because it was like, there's no way. I just can't imagine him sitting there playing it, because it's very intense. Like,
it's not even just that. It's the fact that, like, your kid is then going to see these animatronics
Mm-hmm.
all around wherever you go. I mean, there's
Yeah.
certain stores, the malls, and all that stuff, and this when he's playing the game, that's one thing, but this puts it into the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
So one of my plans is this weekend is not this weekend, but this summer is to take him to a Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know if they still have the animatronic because like when me and Justin were kids, those things were creepy as all hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're still just as creepy.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I heard there's been remodeling done, but
I mean, I haven't been to one since the pandemic, but I mean,
but that's a lot longer than I had been. I haven't been the one since it was in West Roxbury years ago.
Yeah.
But I want to take them and show them like, okay, this is basically what the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is. And so it'll be interesting.
It's I think it's definitely going to make a shit ton of money though. Coming out before Halloween, everyone knows about it. Like it's definitely going to make a ton. And it's Blumhouse, probably made for nothing. So
yeah,
and it will be coming to Peacock also. So
I can tell you, like James, he can handle watching that movie. I'm confident he's got the, I can deal with that kind of stuff. But the other two, no way.
Yeah,
the other two who are Hunter's age, right around it, they have it sandwiched. No, no. Sammy would be up for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
he would not go to sleep by himself anymore.
I mean, when you come, like you guys have seen the movie room or whatever, it's mostly horror, the 31 poster, the Hatchet stuff, and he's cool. Like he comes in, he's like, oh, I know Jason, I know Freddy, I know Chucky, I know all that. But then it's like, maybe if he's with me,
perfectly timed. It's just like,
it's I think he told me he'd be able to handle it. Maybe because he knows the movies, like I mean the video games, but I'll have to watch it, and maybe if you guys watch it the day it comes out and help make this decision.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kyle, you've seen Hunter. Justin, you'll see him next month. Next month, you'll kind of see how he is when he interacts with certain stuff. But like, he knows all about it. He's excited for the movie. We had to take a picture in front of the poster when we went 2 weeks ago. So, but it's. So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. I think it looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that it's all practical makes me way more excited than I would have been.
So,
I think the other big news I can think of that actually came out today is that they casted Superman and Lois Lane, and it's David Corenswet, who I only know from Pearl from last year, and then Rachel Brosnahan, who's the lead actress in Marvelous Miss Maisel on Amazon. But I think it could be cool. I was saying to my friend though, I think it's pretty crazy. Like people have been wondering who's going to play the new Fantastic Four forever, and like the DC kind of movies imploded, and like James Gunn took over, and then we already know who's being casted already before Marvel is getting any of that out, which is interesting. But yeah.
So that was Superman and Wonder Woman, you said?
And Lois Lane.
Lois Lane, okay. Yeah. I don't know who either one of those two are, but I have no interest in the DC universe whatsoever. So I don't know. Are they getting like a TV show or a standalone movie, or?
It's gonna be like the start of them resetting it all, because it's gonna be James Gunn kind of forming it. Yeah.
Okay.
And that'll be like the beginning, kind of. But yeah, I can't think of any other news stories though. Do you guys have anything?
Did you see? Go ahead, Justin.
That brings up that little rumor that I shared with you guys about Sony thinking of buying Warner Brothers
Oh yeah.
movie rights.
Yeah.
Which, if that was the case, it'd be just another nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Because Sony has experience doing superhero movies, and they've pretty much killed most of the ones that they had. They get, the first Spider-Man was good, the second Spider-Man was pretty good, and then they just shot themselves in the foot with the third one.
Yeah.
And killed it. And then they tried to do it again, and then, everything happened.
So
and now they're murdering side characters for Spider-Man to try and make up for what, the Marvel as itself can do with the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think that would be good for them, but
do you think that would be a conflict of interest with them having Spider-Man and the Warner Brothers movie? No.
Because they got me Marvel superheroes, the three game collection for the PS4 for Father's Day, and Warner Brothers had their hand in that game. They made that
did
game.
they?
And that's a Marvel game, so it's they all intertwine and intercede and intersect and all that stuff. But it's a little different because Sony only has like Spider-Man now and like side characters and stuff, and now the X-Men are back home and all that stuff. So it's they have limited characters. So it's a little different. But if they got like DC, I think that they should go back to, forget what Marvel's doing and just, give us a character and give him a series. Don't bring them all together. Just stick with what you're good at. Because, like, Batman, Tim Burton, that was great. Everybody remembers those movies fondly. People from the 70s and all that, they remember, Christopher Reeves as Superman. And that was great. That's great memories. But then they came and they tried to just mash it all together because of what Marvel did. And they just ruined it on themselves. And then they pushed this Flash down everybody's throat. And the people are not reacting well to it. So it's, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to shut my fan off real quick.
Well, Justin, what is your pick of the week?
Oh, now you want my pick of the week. Well, as I pretty much spoiled last week, my pick of the week is Renfield. Renfield, the tortured aide of his narcissistic boss, Dracula, is forced to procure his master's prey and do his every bidding. However, after centuries of servitude, he's ready to see if there's a life outside the shadow of the Prince of Darkness. It's released April 14th on 2023 and directed by Chris McKay. And I thought this movie was great. I thought it was everything exactly as I pictured Nick Cage to be Dracula. I mean, that was kind of what it was. There was some weak parts to the story and all that stuff, but overall, I enjoyed it, and I do suggest it.
John, what is yours?
Okay, what, pick of the week or movies that we watched? Did
Pick
we
of the
skip
week.
some?
Pick of the week.
Okay. So my pick of the week is kind of fitting right now because it's about this in the room right now. 247 degrees Fahrenheit. Terror strikes when three friends become locked inside a sauna that is gradually getting hotter at a lakeside cabin. Initially released on September 1st, 2011. And its directors are Bikwa Jagabura and Laban Bakar.
Why you torture yourself?
Yeah, I realized that after I picked it, but it stars Tyler Maines, Scout Taylor Compton. Pretty interesting.
Sounds like a long, boring movie.
Not really. It's three people confined inside of a sauna and they can't get out, and they try to get out, break stuff. It just keeps getting hotter and hotter, and it's like the effects the heat takes on their bodies. It's insane.
Yeah, it sounds like it's one of those that I personally would lose interest in because it kind of is one area the whole time. And
well, it's not one area the whole time. And then like Tyler Maine's character is outside. He owns the house.
Yeah, they're giving you backstory and all that.
It bounces back and forth, and there's a lot of times where you're like, okay, they're gonna get out, and then it's like, fuck, no, they're not. Like, damn it. So,
Fun.
Fun.
You could also call this movie Cabin Fever. It sounds like it'll.
no, not even close.
No, I'm saying the title
Oh, okay.
could also be Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
Works both ways. My pick was After Sun. 20 years after their last holiday at a fading vacation resort, Sophie reflects on the rare time spent with her loving and idealistic father, Callum. At 11 years old, as the world of adolescence creeps into Sophie's view, Callum struggles under the weight of life outside of fatherhood. Sophie's recollections become a powerful and heart-rending portrayal of their relationship as she tries to reconcile the father she knew with the man she didn't. Came out October 21st, 2022, directed by Charlotte Wells. Yeah, super artsy movie, but one of my favorites last year, and I've just been wanting to rewatch it, so that's why I chose it this week.
That's why I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. I won't make you guys watch it. Or I'll make you guys watch it, and then I'll say I can't do the podcast last minute. Yeah. That'd be fun.
And then it won't get covered, and we'll just skip right over to something that we know by heart.
Yeah. We'll do another commentary for Here Comes the Boom.
John, what have you watched this week?
I should probably go last, man. This is a big list. No, but so I watched Evil Dead Rise, and I watched The Hurricane.
Wait, you didn't watch all the other ones to catch up?
No.
You normally watch full series. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a busy week. I spent all day Saturday moving stuff from the basement to the second floor. But yesterday, I was talking with my friend Ashley, and I gave her 5 movies to pick. One of them for me to watch yesterday, and she chose the Silver Linings Playbook with Jennifer Lawrence. So
it's a great movie.
It is. It was a really good movie. Good choice by her. So yeah, that's it. That's all I watched. 3 movies this week.
Wow. World record.
Yeah.
Justin, what have you watched?
Well, I watched Evil Dead Rise. I did not watch all the rest of them. Nope. I watched that Trainwreck Woodstock documentary today.
Yeah.
The Netflix one?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I started watching some spy show on Netflix about like the actual like things like, audio surveillance and video surveillance and how they'd be used and all that stuff. And that was pretty interesting. But yeah, that was really it.
What were your thoughts on the Woodstock documentary? I know me and Kyle have talked about it, but
I mean, it was interesting. It was I mean, it kind of showed that they were doomed from the start. Gotta love greed.
Do you think that was a representation of our generation at that time, back in '99?
If you screwed us over, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I mean, you look at the landscape at the time, like Stone Cold Steve Austin defying against authority, South Park.
Well, I mean, it was, it wasn't just that. I mean, like, they took all of the stuff that they brought with them to eat and drink away, and then they price gouged the crap out of them. Yeah. Didn't give them, enough toilets to last the weekend. Didn't give enough running water that wasn't, laced with poop for a weekend. And, that's what you're going to get. I've seen it just in Mansfield for Ozfest. Yeah. They were pissed off at the bed. They started throwing mud up at the stage. Same thing as at Woodstock. I mean, it you got to keep the crowd entertained if they're going to pay that much money to go see something and then get price gouged again when they can't,
and I definitely
bring necessities in.
I definitely think the heat played a factor in that as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm all on tarmac. That gets ridiculously hot.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
It was completely their fault.
Yeah, they definitely screwed the pooch on that. But-
They didn't have enough people to do anything. Is absolute train wreck.
And the
Like
security
this,
guys just flipped their shirts inside out and fucking left.
or sold them
So,
and made a
yeah.
nice profit.
Yeah. At least
You
somebody
only
made it.
really need one for 3 days, so
Yeah. So, okay.
Well, we will. Well,
What about
I've only
you?
watched. Yeah, I watched Bumblebee, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and then Charade. That was it.
Charade? What's that?
It's a movie from the '60s.
Oh,
Audrey
okay.
Hepburn
Okay.
and Cary Grant. It was really, 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 really good, actually.
Okay.
I saw that Coolidge was showing it.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll move on to Evil Dead Rise, which is about a reunion between two estranged sisters that gets cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. Came out April 21st, 2023, directed by Lee Cronin, is distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. It was a well, it wasn't adapted from The Evil Dead, but it's, a sequel-ish kind of.
Mhm.
It had a box office of 146.3 million. And yeah.
It also has a runtime of an hour and 36 minutes. There was no end credit scene, which I was quite surprised about. The cinematography was done by Dave Garbett, and it is rated R for bloody horror, violence, gore, and some language. And it is currently streaming on Max, as well available for purchase on Vudu, Amazon, as well as on Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K as of Tuesday the 27th. Oh, he's already gotten it. So shocking.
look at that.
It was upside down.
And for our cast of characters, we have Lily Sullivan as Beth, Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie, Morgan Davies as Danny, Gabrielle Echols as Bridget, Nell Fisher as Cassie, Noah Paul as Bruce, Richard Crouchley as Caleb, Marabi Peace as Teresa, Anne Marie Thomas as Jessica, Jaden Daniels as Gabriel, Billy Reynolds McCarthy as Jake, Ty Wano as Scott, and Mark Mitchinson as Mr. Fonda. Bruce Campbell is featured in an uncredited voice-only cameo role heard in a recording on one of the phonograph records from 1923. So that's good. Always got to have him in there.
Yeah. I know the director, when they first screened it, said he'll give like $50 to whoever spots it in the crowd. And like the first person that came up to him was like, "Oh, is it this one?" And they got it right. But yeah.
Well, he has such a distinct voice. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you know,
I after, because I knew like he was in there somewhere, so after I saw it, I knew that was him. But my friends were like, "Yeah, I have no idea," and they're just as into it as I am, but they didn't catch it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wasn't, paying attention for it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, what did you guys kind of think with that whole intro that is back at the cabin before we move into the city?
I mean, I did like that whole opening sequence.
Mhm.
I thought the scalping was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was pretty
Um,
brutal.
And I did expect more from the drone.
Hmm.
That disappointed me.
Yeah.
Just a couple scratches on the face, and she did it. Spoiler alert, did it to herself. I was, because they teased it. It won't decapitate. You'll just she should have made it decapitate him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or something, or done something to him, not just that. But
Hmm.
it's what
Yeah.
it is.
Definitely a cool opening.
Mhm.
I was wondering how it was tying into the movie,
Hmm.
but as you'll see later on, you see how it ties in, and
Yeah.
When she just grabs the drone and is like, I was like, oh, okay, but the drone kill was very intense.
Hmm.
Well, yeah. After that, when he dives in, and that
And
was
it was cool paying homage to the original with that shot where it's flying in and it's cutting through the woods, and
Hmm.
you know I believe they did that with a motorcycle in the remake, 2011 remake, and however they did it in the original. But it was cool to kind of like, okay, it's a drone. Now you know. So,
Yeah. And I think I really liked, the title credits. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely a big moment. Yeah, and like I said, we kind of move into them being in the city, which is interesting because Evil Dead is one of the cabin in the woods kind of movies, so it's interesting they finally took it out. And I mean, they're in LA, but it's a classic kind of horror franchise thing where like, oh, it's in the city now.
Yeah.
But it's more so just in an apartment. We don't really see much of the city. But what do you guys kind of think of the setting?
Definitely different than being in the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the story that they wanted to tell, it had to be in a city, in an apartment, a rundown apartment building, above an old bank, and it kind of tied it all together for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I liked the bank aspect. Like, I think it's kind of cool, and like with the earthquake and all that.
And the fact that they tell the story of, oh, this used to be a bank, there could be money down there.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden there's an earthquake, a hole in the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and they see the safe or the safe deposit boxes or whatever they were.
Vault.
Yeah, the vault, and pulling the record, and definitely a different take on it, but
yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, and I think playing off the records is kind of cool too. And I think the way I kind of like, because this movie did really well. It's like the #1 movie in HBO Max right now. Like they just added it and it's the top watched. It even beat the new Avatar movie, so it's definitely doing well. So hopefully we'll get another one soon enough. But they're definitely building it out, the universe and all that.
Yeah.
And like, who knows if we'll ever see a movie about how this ended up in the bank vault or something like that, or
like a prequel.
Yeah, because I mean that could be interesting in 1923. A bunch of priests fighting demons. Like, there's definitely room to do all their crazy stuff from
Bruce
there.
Campbell would have to play the priest.
Yeah, he would be good at that. Yeah, and I think kind of setting it up to be that was like before I saw it, like setting it up where it's a family. I was like, okay, like I don't want it to be like, because there's kids in the movie, and I didn't want it to be one of those horror movies where there's kids and it's kind of muted. But they definitely don't hold back with the kids.
Yeah.
No, they did not.
No.
I mean, the little girls, like, she's cutting heads off of dolls and shit. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, she's gonna be the first one to go. Come on now.
Yeah.
She was the first one to transform or whatever. But
yeah, I feel a little gypped on that. I feel like the kid would have the younger daughter would have been better to have turn for a little bit and have her creepy ass crawling around and
Yeah. And they don't, like, in the other ones, like sometimes they turn and then come back, so they could have done that and had, if they didn't want to fully kill her off, had her come back. That could have been cool. But
yeah. I mean, I think we've all seen, the kids being possessed, and it's been overkill. And
yeah, but it's fun.
Spoiler, the fact that she survives, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is kind of the themes and all that kind of lean towards her surviving with her being pregnant and all that. So, but I do think once it takes a little bit to get going, but once like the mom getting possessed is pretty crazy. Like we get that kind of drone shot again, and then the elevator scene and all that. But I think
we didn't talk about what I thought was the actual Evil Dead Rising, was when she looked at the pregnancy test and thought she was pregnant. Kidding.
John, that's
Well,
you didn't write this one.
Nope. But
it's because they're in a high-rise building, so
yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Well, anyways, I think Alyssa Sutherland as the mom and the main bad guy is great. I thought she's kills it.
That
Absolutely.
elevator scene was friggin' crazy.
Yeah.
And it just throws her against the wall. Then it's coming out. The wires are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And, it definitely gave that Evil Dead feel.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of horror movies and stuff in elevators and scenes, but I feel like I haven't seen The Wires like do anything like that.
Yeah.
That was kind of a new take on it.
I mean, I've seen it in other movies for other various things, but never quite like that. I mean, I guess the chains in like Hellraiser kind of hold you in those BDSM positions, but I mean, yeah, it's a little different when it's something that I know I've been using daily for the past couple months. Not something I want to think about when I step into a high-rise elevator.
Yeah. But yeah, like she absolutely killed it, and she's definitely scary at points. Like I like the whole scene in the bath when like she's like flies up and like screams and falls back down. I thought that was cool. But what did you guys kind of think of once we get into the action, like the pacing of it?
Like the scene when she's making the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's just like yolks and all that. I was like, okay, so that's how we're doing this now. But definitely the transformation was intense.
Yeah.
Like, she went from 0 to 60 like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see how the kids were and how she is as a mom at first, like at the beginning. Oh, you better not be playing with my scissors. And then when she starts doing shit with like the sewing gun.
The tattoo gun.
Yeah, the tattoo gun, like.
Yeah, they definitely set up like, we see the tattoo gun almost in the eye. That's obviously any eye stuff is always, especially that where it's going in and out. Like obviously if we saw that happen to them, it just kind of hits their cheek, but
that was also a missed opportunity. I think they should have done it. I think they should have gone for it. I think they should have done it.
Oh, I mean,
I don't know how they would have made it work, but I wanted to see it.
Yeah. One scene I thought was funny was when all that happens with the tattoo gun and they get her back outside the apartment and like it's all the other kind of cast and you assume like, okay, the family is gonna live for a little bit and they'll slowly kill off the other cast, but like
bam.
Yeah,
one right after another, real quick.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool.
In all different ways too, like the guy pulling his eye out, Yeah, it was definitely a shocker that they killed all those other people so quickly.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool little twist, and then it allowed kind of more focus onto the family. But yeah, I think once we get back inside and like everybody else is getting possessed too, that's when some of the more gruesome stuff comes.
Yeah,
like the scissors in the arm, that was pretty brutal, and like
the knife in the arm was great.
The pipe thing through this sister's mouth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When she became possessed, it was like, okay, she could come back from this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the mother. Go ahead, Justin.
Glass.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That part on that scene was.
And
that was good.
Mm-hmm.
The use
she
of
was
blood
good too,
in
honestly.
This movie, like the use of blood in this movie was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a big budget. Let's bloody it up.
Yeah. I don't know if it definitely has a lot. I mean, we get the blood elevator later, but I think the 2013 one has like the record because they rained blood for a while. So that's technically the record for the most blood used, but I mean, this is probably up there as well.
Yeah, I mean, they filled an elevator with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that didn't beat it. I mean, that was a lot of blood.
Yeah.
But and I mean the whole that with the glass. I mean that little poke out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was
I
that
mean,
was
I'm
probably the
pretty
most
sure
funny
that's
part.
not what would have happened. I'm pretty sure, like, if something like that, like, it would have just kept going down, sticking out. But that
Yeah,
was,
The thing that got me was like the body disforming, like, when she's turning.
yeah, and the cracking and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that shit freaks me out. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I get
uh,
used to that though, because they do that in every single one of these,
and it gets me like,
style of movies.
what was that
Mhm.
movie when the girl like bends backwards? What was that? The Conjuring or The Last Exorcism?
Yeah, of
It's
Emily Rose there.
yeah, like,
Yeah. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and we get some puking and stuff too. That's
oh
classic Evil
yeah.
Dead. Yeah, can't go without that.
Sitting there trying to eat some chicken in the first scene, and yeah, I was like, oh,
Well,
fuck.
that's your fault for
Yeah,
not
that was
thinking
my
about
fault
that.
for watching a fucking Evil Dead movie while eating chicken.
Yep. Hmm.
My bad. What was I thinking?
Every single movie involves somebody throwing some
Yeah.
vile thing up,
I haven't watched the Evil Dead movie since we went and saw the remake in 2011 at the movie theater. So
Neither have I, but I remembered.
Nothing's changed. The show too. The show is just as
Yep.
gory
Mhm.
and
I don't
Yep.
think I watched the show.
I
show's
watched
good.
at least I think
That
it's
was what, Ash versus Evil Dead?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know. I
That
never
one's
watched.
more comedy than horror, but it still has plenty of blood and other
Still pretty funny.
liquids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like this movie isn't as funny as other ones, but there's definitely funny
No.
moments, like the eggs and just some of the stuff she says
Oh,
is
when
fun.
the little girl's like, I have to look in the water before I get in because that might be jellyfish.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like it's a fucking tub, and the aunt pulls out a rubber duck. Like,
yeah. And when the aunt's like, "Oh, everything will be all right," and she's
Oh
like,
yeah.
"You'll be a good mom." Why?
yeah,
Oh, because you're good at lying to kids. That was a good line. And I really like the aunt too. I think she was a good kind of final girl. You see at first she's not doing anything, then she slowly starts fighting back. I
yeah,
liked her. Yeah. So we get to the hallway again after all the chaos, and I like how they kind of brought back the other ones as deadites, and then it's like truly an impossible situation.
Mhm.
And they're saying dead by dawn, dead by dawn. There's, I mean, a lot of good callbacks to the other ones too, which I'm always going to appreciate. But I think my favorite scene is when they finally get down to the parking garage. I think that was a
yes.
really cool sequence, and we get the chainsaw back, and
Good
you know,
nod to the original. Yeah,
and
Yeah, you
like
can't do it without a chainsaw,
no,
really.
no, that'll always have to be in it. And it's fun how it was like the guy that died, his truck and all that, because they kind of mentioned at the beginning quickly, and then
Well, yeah, they foreshadowed that. I'm like, I can't wait to see that get used.
yeah, and
Because I knew immediately somebody's going into that thing. I
yeah, yeah,
don't,
yeah.
somebody's running through it.
yep, yep.
There's no chance it didn't happen.
I
And
mean,
the creature's cool too, like them all coming together. It's kind of, and that's like the ultimate like family. Like they're literally, and whatever she says, she's like, "Oh, I wish I could eat all of you, and you'll be inside me," and that's kind of what
yeah.
happens.
You know, when they're in the hallway and the guy said, I believe he said, "That's my gun,"
Hmm.
and she's just like, okay, hits
Yeah,
him
it's
with
just
it, whatever, and then down in the parking lot you see the wood chipper and you
yeah,
see the chainsaw.
yeah.
Like, but that kill though was fucking awesome.
Hmm.
Spoiler alert: the chainsaw to the head, fucking awesome.
Well,
Yep,
she shouldn't have said she looked like their mom. I mean, that was totally on her. She deserved it. You
yep.
don't tell a woman she looks like her mom. You
Why don't
just
you guys go
don't.
try that out right now? Justin, you go
No,
tell
I
Mary.
know. No, I am
Kyle is
smarter than
casting
that.
it, but yeah, but
And she's
um,
not home.
and then when she just like kicks her in, like
Yep.
you know,
The only in all the Evil Dead movies, somebody loses a hand. So part of me I thought like her hand would kind of get caught in it, and that's how she would lose it. Then she would chainsaw her. That's my only kind of shock they didn't do that. Kind of like seemed like a given, but
Oh, they got you, huh?
You can't reuse everything.
yeah. They got most of it. I mean, I can't think of anything else really they didn't hit. That was like the one big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I even heard "I'll swallow your soul."
Yeah.
I think that
I
was
didn't
in
get
there.
"I'll swallow your soul. I'll swallow your soul." No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I heard it.
Oh yeah.
We got one. We didn't get the swarm
Yeah,
of it, but
yeah.
we got it. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't one of the kids? Didn't the son lose his hand? No. No, he got stabbed in the arm. We didn't
Yeah,
talk
it was
about
like
that.
Stabbed in the arm.
Yeah.
that one. I thought.
Oh, the fire. We didn't talk about the fire when she's in the bed sheet.
Oh yeah.
Like that was creative. Yeah.
Yep. I thought when the son gets stabbed, I thought they were gonna like she was gonna pull him and it would have like cut his arm
Yeah.
or vertically, which would have been pretty crazy.
I kind of had, or that he was gonna pull it or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still brutal though. Like getting stabbed there. Oof.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah, and then at the end Ellie and the Cassie escape. Who knows? She picks up the chainsaw, so who knows if we'll see them again.
Beth and Cassie.
Yeah,
Said
Beth,
Ellie,
sorry. Yeah, that was the
Ellie's head was just kicked into a chipper, so
Yeah.
I don't think she escaped.
Yeah, and I know the actress that played Beth, like they seem to have a great time. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see her again, and I hope we do. I really liked her. But then we kind of see the full circle moment with the girl coming out and like nothing happened. Get in her car and then she kind of sees the blood
Sorry,
and then
there's no way.
kids
Like,
and
I
their
know
phones.
I know some people can sleep through shit, but nah.
But my question is, what is she doing living in a place like that? She looks like she's, upper class.
Well, I mean, their apartment was still really nice. I think it's just like
Yeah, the apartment was nice, but the fucking hallway looked like something out of.
Who cares? That's what you want. You want the outside to look like shit and the inside to be good, and then nobody's gonna steal your shit. I can't tell you how many times when I was working for Dish in Rhode Island that I'd go to a house in Central Falls, Rhode Island, which is like bleh. And outside was, oh crap, I'm gonna get shot. And you'd go inside the house and it's like, I see what you did there. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what did you guys kind of think of, the cinematography and stuff and, the way it looked?
I mean, I thought it kept up with, that feeling that you got with the originals, with that opening shot. It didn't go, it's not it's not ever going to be the same,
Mm-hmm.
Just, with technology and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't terribly dark.
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets me in a lot of these horror movies is when it's too goddamn dark to see anything.
Yeah.
That's when I'm just like, nah, I'm done with it. I don't care
Yeah.
anymore. But it didn't do that to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the little nods to the original, like I said in the beginning, and
yeah.
The way they moved around throughout the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cinematography was amazing, and
yeah,
to capture the scenes the way they did, like when she gets pulled into the elevator and it goes right up into her face,
mm-hmm.
and definitely pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean we touched on it briefly. I think the effects were all really well done. Like the drone one is, I agree, kind of iffy, but other than that, it's brutal, it's effective. They could have gone farther in some places, but where they did, it's still cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you guys have like a favorite kill or moment like that?
Mine was definitely the chainsaw to the head.
Yeah.
And then kicking the head into the wood chipper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just kind of like the whole eat the guy's eyeball out, spit into that guy's throat. That was that was creative.
Yeah.
It was good, good use of the effects and and your audience.
Yeah. I definitely like the sculpt. I think that was
The
that
scalp
most
was good.
memorable.
That was a good one. Mostly when she comes walking out and then drops it.
Yeah,
That made it
the
better.
plop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys recommend this movie?
If you're not squeamish by blood, yes.
Yeah, I mean it was better than I was expecting it to be. So
I was kind of dreading watching it.
I'm
Just
just
'cause
not
I
in a
liked
horror
it.
movie.
No.
I'm just not in a I'm not in a horror mindset anymore.
I'm
Right
always
now.
in a horror mindset, but when the way they talk about some of these movies nowadays, and like scariest movie ever, like, and the hype
Yeah.
that it had behind it, it's going to be bad. But this definitely it proved me wrong on that theory.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think we're getting weaker in that sense
Yeah.
as a species as we go
Mhm.
forward in time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of these people left throwing up, and it's like for over what? Like,
Yeah.
do people not realize that they're actors and it's
Mhm.
fake? I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah, it's
get that
always
some of
just
it
been-
looks pretty real, but come on, let's make that separation, folks.
Yeah.
Well, there's
It's
some
all
people that
marketing.
just can't handle vomit,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's here and they throw up next to me, I'm throwing up. But, if it's on TV.
There's people, like, I had this conversation at work. Something that scares Justin might not scare me and Kyle.
No,
Something that's,
I get that, but let's
everybody's
keep
different.
it to what it
And,
is.
yeah.
I do
Don't
think
use those things to try and say that it's the scariest thing ever, because
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
also like this one is not as brutal as the remake was.
No.
Like there's a lot more crazier shit in that one. There's some stuff in here that's crazy, but that one when she's has the tongue, that one's brutal.
Oh.
She's in the shower and like it's burning
See?
her. There's a ton of crazy stuff in that one. I think especially when she's under the car and she like pulls her arm off.
Yeah.
That one's a million times more brutal than this. But
So you're the Evil Dead expert out of the three of us. Did these all fall in line of some sort? I know the
Yeah.
remake was a remake.
Well, I
But
think
then they say Evil Dead 2 was a remake of Evil Dead 1.
yeah, the rights of this franchise are fucked, like any horror movie. So like they made the second one and they didn't have the rights to the first one, so at the beginning of the movie they just reshot the synopsis of the first one to get to the point. So they're kind of all canon, but like at the same time they're not, because even like Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness isn't perfectly lined up. But the remake originally was just a remake, but then it did really well and it was really well received. And so like retroactively it's just become a sequel because you have the Bruce's cameo at the end, but in Army of Darkness, in Army of Darkness, there's a scene when he's looking for the books and there's the 3 books. So now they've kind of said like, oh, so one of the books is the one from the original Evil Dead, another one's from the remake, and then the third one is this one.
Okay.
So they've kind of retroactively been like, oh no, it's all sequels.
Okay.
And so I know originally they were going to do a movie with the protagonist from the remake and then Ash, but then that fell through. At one point there was going to be Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, but that fell through. Like, kind of, it does have bad luck, kind of. But this did really well. So, if anything, we'll see a sequel with Beth again. I don't know if maybe they'll bring back the Jane Levy from the last one, but I don't know. Going forward, that's
Okay.
I think we'll definitely see one sooner rather than later.
And I mean, you're running out of time.
Yeah.
On Bruce Campbell, and
how old is he?
Not
He's
trying
what,
to be
70,
mean,
isn't he?
but
He's in his 60s.
Getting up there,
Yeah.
and
well,
he's winding down anyway. So.
He's said he's retired from live action Ash, but there's a rumor right now. He's brought it up that they're gonna do an animated series where he'll voice them. So who knows where that'll go? That's the rumor right now, and he has talked about it. So I think it's more so of a in the pipeline than a rumor, but that's release coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering that.
So John, what is your rating?
I give it a 4 out of 5 mugs.
Justin?
I'll let it have its 4 because it was better than I expected.
I'll give it a 5 out of 5 because I love this movie.
That's not what the notes just said.
I know,
The notes
I
said
didn't even-
6 out of 5.
That was an accident. I would give it a
Yeah.
6 out of 5. That was an accident, though.
This is the most animated Kyle has ever been when we recorded this podcast in 62 fucking episodes.
See,
He's into it. He's on
Smile.
camera. He's
Well,
smiling.
I know.
He
This
sounds
is what I
happy.
know.
He's not being held against his will.
It's
You
in
should know the other
on here.
movies. You've seen them.
Yeah,
you know?
well, I know. This is all I, Well, anyways, it has a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb, 84% of 100 on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 3.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. What
Okay.
will you guys be covering next week?
So next week, Kyle is on vacation, but Justin, you and me, we're going back to 1993 with Rookie of the Year, starring Thomas Ian Nicholas, Daniel Stern, Gary Busey, Albert Brooks, and it was directed by Daniel Stern. Kyle, have you ever seen Rookie of the Year?
No.
Son of a bitch.
Well,
You cut out there, Justin. You're cutting out.
and he needs to watch it before he comes back.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs to watch it. You still need to, still need to do your homework.
Yeah.
And we'll have a brief Kyle reviews Rookie of the Year in 2 weeks.
This was an important movie to us growing up. Watch
A
this
young
on your sick
Thomas
days.
Ian Nicholas, And then after that, we got some fun stuff this summer. End of the month, we'll be doing the first annual Movie Bar Game Show.
That would
As
be
it
not
said.
the end of this month.
Oh, the end of July. I'm sorry. Well, no,
You're a little ahead of yourself.
Well, this will drop on the 30th. So basically, yeah. And but the third week in July, we'll have that. That should be fun. And all right, Kyle.
The bar is now closed. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow us and stay up to date with the podcast at the Movie Bar Pod on Twitter, at Movie Bar Podcast on Instagram, at Movie Bar Pod on YouTube, and at the Movie Bar Podcast on Facebook.
We are on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and most places you listen to your podcast. Be sure to check out our website, www.moviebarpod.com.
Thank you for listening. Please let us know what you want to hear by contacting us on social media or via email at themoviebar@outlook.com. Please be sure to like, review, and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.